Hey everyone, Don and Ash here,
Hello.
back for another reaction video. This time we're going to be taking a look at the behind the scenes for the League of Legends Worlds 2021 um, show open, it says, the opening ceremony. Yeah, I can't wait to see this. 2021 was the Arcane oriented one,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. It was different, but it was definitely awesome, super memorable.
Yeah.
The sets were amazing in that one. That was the biggest thing I remember. It's
Yeah.
just the wardrobe and the sets and how like authentic it was.
I was saying how everything just tied together so seamlessly. Like I am so intrigued about how they pulled this all together.
Yeah, without further ado, let's hop right in.
We go all in on the opening ceremony because of the respect we have for the players who are about to play. They deserve the world's greatest opening act.
And we're always trying to exceed expectations with that.
This is the year that Arcane is revealed to players around the world, sharing a much deeper realization and expression of the world of Runeterra.
We had to find a way to draw inspiration from Arcane and tell the main heartbeat of the show without giving away anything that might be considered a spoiler.
From the get-go, we had planned on a kind of half and half hybrid ceremony, creating these immersive, stunning music videos, but then also to have live show elements.
We wanted to create something that was less in a virtual space and more in like a physically based space.
We wanted to build Piltover and Zon on stage.
We were really excited by the idea of being able to bring magic elements into the real world.
It was so sick.
This is going to be the biggest live event Riot's ever done.
That was the initial plan before everything changed.
Yeah. So good though.
So good.
It's no wonder that Fortiche spent the last 3 or 4 years working on Arcane. It's very well done. The art for it is beautiful. That's exciting for us. On the other hand, we have to make sure that what we do is able to live up to that as well.
Arcane is going to invite players around the world to better understand the characters of League of Legends. So we felt the creative opportunity was to bring the worlds of League of Legends to life in the context of the opening ceremony.
For 2 or 3 months, we had been planning the opening ceremony as a stage show.
The show was completely planned around this massive set that's going to be built inside a stadium that's bigger than Bird's Nest. So scale is going to be a big component.
This was going to be the biggest venue that we've ever played in. And we were putting in a lot of detail and energy to making sure that we could do something very magical in front of this enormous crowd.
Bruh,
Y'all are insane.
could you imagine?
We were to do 3 different music video segments that would then play a part in the live show, appearing on the monitors, interplaying with the live event.
And I remember looking over their decks and I was like, this is very scaled. The challenging thing was working with the live show and what their needs were for their story beats. We have to get from A to B, but what's the coolest way to get there?
It was ambitious, it was enormous, it had automation, it had lots of things, all designed down to the nut and bolt.
We're 10 months into planning. We are thousands of people hours into creative. We've now been in technical and physical production for about 7 weeks. We're putting gear on boats, we're putting gear on planes, we're signing contracts. We're in a place to really start to bring this show to life.
It's extremely difficult to get everything aligned while we're in a global pandemic.
About a month before Worlds started, we just started to realize we weren't able to pull off Worlds at the scale we knew we needed to pull it off.
Without certain resources and without certain individuals, it becomes impossible under those constraints to achieve what we set out to do.
Nick, I think, shielded us from everything until he was certain.
On August 16th, it became clear that the opening ceremony was not going to be possible to deliver in mainland China. On August 19th, I knew with certainty that Worlds was going to be leaving mainland China. The opening ceremony, as we understand it, doesn't make sense outside of one of the biggest stadiums in the world, which meant we now had 2 different emergency searches to launch.
It's super hard to make that decision, but the most important thing always has to be the competitive integrity of the competition, our ability to deliver a Worlds that is worthy of our pros and our fans around the world.
And so everything comes to a complete standstill.
Don't do it.
Hitting the brakes like that is jarring, to say the least.
It was an entire reframing of thinking, what could this even be anymore? So we all just like go cram into a room and say we're not coming out until we know what this is gonna be.
We went through every version of this show that we could.
I think in the back of our minds, all of us knew like this just has to become a full cinematic, full VFX, full animation.
And I think we were on our first day of actually live shooting. They pulled me aside and they were like, look, we're no longer doing the live show. We want to go even crazier with it.
We made the choice to keep the music videos as a static element of the creative and then started writing a new narrative. And that's when concepting around what we've begun calling the show Open began. As we made this shift to cinematic, we penciled Reykjavik, Iceland as where the World Championship was going to move to. In parallel, we'd identified the United Kingdom as the right place to move the opening ceremony to. While we were confident that we had great footage from the music videos we'd shot in Los Angeles, the show was still missing this massive sense of spectacle and splendor. It became increasingly clear that this cinematic moment should be this massive marketplace in Zon, where everyone can feel the richness of the world.
This thing had so many moving parts, from the music video production teams here in LA, the performance stage in Iceland, a whole build that needed to go into that, the set build in Birmingham, which was where the Zon set was built.
You know, these 30-foot high walls that we've built, you're wrapped 360 in Zon.
It is very rare to be able to play in a playground like the set they created in Birmingham.
There's all the many animation and VFX teams we had to bring on.
We needed to aggressively and massively scale our entire team. We started up an effects department, an environments department, lighting departments, character animation.
All told, over 1,300 people were required.
In a normal world, like you would have 7 or 8 months to produce this thing, we had less than 2.
The only way to pull off a project of this scope in a timeline this short is to have highly functioning partners who can just do what they do so well. This entire 13.5-minute piece is a Jenga tower, you know? If one moment of it doesn't land, the rest of it's at risk.
It was so important to have people already looking to the post and VFX on set to make sure we were preparing ourselves and setting ourselves up for success.
So insane.
So in wrapping up in Birmingham, what will happen across the next 2.5 weeks is an extraordinarily aggressive post-production schedule. We have to move that process as fast as it can physically go. The greatest constraint on this entire project is the ability to do animation, set extension, and visual effects at effectively feature film levels of quality in 10% of the time frame.
So we needed to bring all of the weird elements together, 3D, 2D, live action, set build, set extensions in 3D, but also we want it to look like the Arcane series. So like it's all these departments moving forward in parallel. We're trying to make them all feel cohesive and similar, which is very difficult when nobody has anything finished along the way.
We had to do a lot of things in tandem where usually we would wait for one step to resolve before we moved on to the next step.
By the nature of the sort of production timeline that we had, we knew that we were not going to be uploading the show until probably a few hours before it went to air.
Everything is down to the wire, and we are going to be using every second until that final delivery to get things as polished as they need to be.
A week out from the show, none of us are sleeping well. This is the 5-day period where everything has to converge.
We still didn't have much finalized because everything was still in flight. I think the first sequence that we had done was between Playground and Enemy when we see Jinx and Vi in the arcade. And that was the Wednesday before it aired on Saturday.
For as much time and attention went into bringing Zon and Piltover to life, the thing that we could never lose sight of is how important the reveal of the Summoner's Cup and the players is to the overall moment.
So the way we revealed the trophy this year, we were excited by because this intricately designed Hextech sphere served a narrative purpose in sort of the story we were telling, but also became the thing that unveiled the trophy.
It recenters us back in the purpose of the moment, which is the World Finals.
The night before the show is sort of this twilight of stress. You're close enough to delivery that you can't change the outcome, but because you haven't actually made it across the finish line yet, there's this incredible pressure that you might not.
At this point, we're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure this thing goes off without a hitch.
We knew we weren't going to have the show open completely delivered until about 2 hours before broadcast. Ultimately, we're going to come down to the mercy of how fast can a file be downloaded.
Friday evening, I was waiting for my last deliverable.
3 of the deliverables had come through via Dropbox, but the 2 largest ones hadn't yet. By this time, we absolutely have to be uploading the files, otherwise it's not gonna make it.
What if the fiber goes down? What if the power goes out?
Someone was running over to the colorist in Burbank to get everything on a drive, place the final shot in, upload it, press play.
I think 4 or 5 a.m. by the time we're like, okay, everything's like out of our hands at this point.
We took our hands off the wheel and popped open a bottle of champagne.
I can't. I would be losing my mind.
After that moment where we hit play, kind of a blur.
It's the first time everyone can take a breath.
I just remember this great sense of accomplishment and joy, being able to see it all together with the people that helped you build the thing.
After that, it was like, well, what do we do now?
The thing that I think will separate this year is the level of passion that everyone brought to the project. And I think that that shines through in the finished product.
Just being able to work and occupy in the same space as so many creative people, a dedicated group of fans and players all together in this great community, it feels really like an honor to be part of something like this.
When we affect people emotionally or when we impact people with what we do, that's what I'm most proud of.
I think with every opening ceremony or show open, we push the boundaries a little bit more in different directions. So who knows what we'll do next?
Who knows?
Yo, they're talking about like it all came down to how fast we can download or upload a file, and then he's talking about like Dropbox, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my god. I'm like, oh my god.
My bro's like, snap, snap, snap.
Yeah, like they don't have some sort of proprietary internal system. Nope, it's literally just just Dropbox. I'm like, oh my god, could you imagine if like there's some error? Dropbox like, nope, file too large. Oh my god. Yeah, just seriously. That was awesome. It was awesome to take a look at the behind the scenes and you know, how that open was memorable in its own way for sure.
Yeah.
For them to just talk about all the enormous stresses that they went through to get that done. Like, hats off to everybody. They did a fantastic job.
I'm like, my brain is still just like, I'm just like so blown away that they like pulled this off in the time frame that they had after getting the news that they did, and just like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, having to like switch to two different locations and then again just merge everything all together, just like, wow.
Yeah, two different. It was 2 different main locations, right? But like there were sets built in all sorts of different cities and stuff like that. That was honestly insane. Like, it's got to be crazy to have so many different departments like having to converge all at once.
Yeah,
and just like not having checks in place that you would normally have in place.
Yeah, exactly. And they said they added departments, like they didn't have a lot of those prior to, right?
Yeah.
And like their team grew so much, like so quickly, and then like that one guy was saying, like everyone had to work in tandem, where normally like you would do this in steps, right? And there was just like there wasn't an option for that this time.
Well, yeah, okay, so there had to be like project coordinators, and I'm sure that they like aged like 40 years on this project. Like
that was like me as soon as like when they're talking about files and stuff, I'm just like, and everything again, like that's what I do. That's my like real time job as production coordinator, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, you guys, like,
yeah, I just want to like bring up this still of like the scale of like building the scaffolding for the Zon set, which was absolutely amazing in this giant warehouse. It must have been really cool to work on that, and I'm really happy that they got a time lapse. Is this the time lapse footage? Hold on, let me play. Yeah, this is the time lapse footage of it, and it's just like it's just like, wow, that's actually really cool to see it come all down and come up. And I'm just like, it seems like from start to finish of a project, they think of everything. Not only, I mean, obviously everything to do with the project itself, like the show open, but all the behind the scenes footage that we wouldn't have if somebody didn't think of that.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm so, like, not even just like crappy behind the scenes footage. Like, somebody
legit was.
It's like a nice framed shot, right? Like, it's so planned. And I'm like,
thank you.
How, yeah, the amount of meticulous networking that all these, I'm gonna call them the planners or the people who have to oversee like different departments and be the like the connectors basically.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they are so integral to the web of this enormous thing coming together, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, absolutely incredible. And it's like you can easily just be like, we know a lot of work goes into it and blah blah blah. But like when you actually get to see it, it just brings that whole scale into like such a much more clear, well-rounded perspective.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they remembered to do a behind the scenes and like shared this with us too.
Yeah, and then like I'm like, whatever team that they got to work on this, the unveiling, like the giant hex tech orb unveiling thing.
Yeah.
Super cool, super cool. I'm like, I was looking so much at like, not just that, but like the videographer dude that was there, and his giant gimbal body.
Yeah,
gimbal.
his rig.
Yeah, his giant body rig that he's wearing, right? I'm just like, man, that'd be so cool to use. And I'm sitting here like just frosting at the teeth.
Yeah.
I'm like, give it to me. I want to use it. No, but it's honestly so cool. I think that, again, just bringing this back up on screen for a second, I think that like every detail of this unveiling, the placement between the teams, the color scheme, the implementation of like the whole hex tech, the trophy itself.
I'm like, how they have the lights on the inside there.
Yeah,
like,
no,
they just like thought of everything.
They went all out with this, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's like blossoming, like a little Hextech seed, right? No, but the trophy itself is absolutely awesome too, and it's just like because we've already seen the 2022 one. It's oh, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I'm like that's literally like one of the things I had said too. I'm just like, what? How did we go from like this?
Yeah.
To the 2022 version.
Yeah, no,
it was.
And I've seen other thumbnails. Like I know other people have made videos on it, right, to call it out, and it's just like, oh. So if there is a 2022 behind the scenes, I'm totally interested in seeing that one.
Definitely.
Again, it's as much as I can just sit on the sidelines and judge, I'm way more interested in the story of all the problems that they had to face because I know that regardless of the product that they put out, the final product. I know that all these people are super talented at their jobs.
Yeah.
And like, even if they fall short of their own standards, I'm still in awe of the effort. Like, you know what I mean? So, I couldn't imagine being in this position, with some of the things they've had to face in their industry over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
In my own industry, it's been hard. So I just can't imagine it scaled up in any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. Like, I've we've all experienced too much stress to do it the last couple of years. And I just feel like, personally, I feel like any job more intense than mine, I'm like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, nope.
I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, I don't know how y'all kept it together. Anyways, like, this was awesome. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, a lot of it was just being in awe of the sets, the design. I guess we should quickly make note of like, I'll pop it up on screen here for a second. Their original stage design.
Oh my god.
We didn't even touch on that, right? Their original stage design would have been crazy.
Yeah, when that came up, I was like,
I wonder if they're going to do
speechless.
something like that for 2023 though. I mean, 'cause we already seen 2022, obviously we just said that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to do something like this. I'll just let it play for a second. If they're going to do something like this for 2023, like look at this. Look at this. Could you imagine? I'm just like, what? So I'm like, so hold on. So there'd be a main stage. I'm like, here's how I imagine this, right? I can obviously see the seats in the front.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna note that.
There's a main stage, and like they have screens in the back playing the different backgrounds of the different cities. I'm like, but how does the stage switch from like this blue concept that they just had on there, right, to like this one to the other stage? I'm like, how are they gonna do all this? These geniuses would have thought of something. I have no idea.
They're like, we got it. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm just like, either way, I think it'd be really, really, really cool to see full out stage designs.
Yes.
You know, within the actual stadium of this. Not to say that I mean, it's not like they went any less big building their Zon set in the warehouse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
still, they went huge with it.
They're like, we're still gonna.
Yeah. Are you gonna? They're like, yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely sick.
I'm like, for whenever Arcane 2 comes out and gets released,
or
like
season two, yeah.
Season 2, yeah, sorry. Whenever season 2 gets released, I'm like, oh man, like is it gonna end up tying up at the same timeline as the Worlds, and are they gonna do something just as big, or we know that they're always improving, but like I'm already like so eager to see what that kind of ends up looking like.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really cool if it did end up kind of tying together. Like, I don't even know. One of my favorite parts, and I'm just gonna let it play on screen for a second. And again, I was nerding out seeing all of the wireless monitors that this gentleman is holding in his hand here. I'm just like, every single piece of gear, my eyes were like,
all the tech,
like
yeah.
oh, so much, right? So one of my favorite parts was seeing this in the actual open, like the electricity overlay on like through the city or whatever. I just absolutely love that. Love the cranes and all the jibs and gimbals, and I'm just like, it just makes me want to, like, you know, get into that world and do some of that work.
Your little production heart is
Yeah,
just like,
it's just like swooning right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was really awesome. I know you guys love 2021, so down in the comments, let us know what you liked the most about 2021. If you had any gripes with it at all, or things that you wish they may have included. Honestly, I just feel like I think most people feel the same, which is it was different, but it was a very memorable experience.
Oh yeah, hands down. Like, you can't forget that one.
No, 100%. So I think that wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know your favorite moments down in the comments below, and if you have been enjoying us looking at these worlds, and you like all the rest of our League of Legends content, amongst other content, and you want to continue on with us, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right.
Bye.
Bye.